I went on birthright, and the first thing that you say when you get to Israel is welcome home. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this isn't Long Island.
Why are you against genocide? Because as Jews especially, we should know from our past that what's going on is unacceptable. Genocide can never be carried out against anyone, never again for anyone.
I've been taught my whole life that Israel was supposed to be our safe space, but no one ever taught me about the Nakba and what happened to 750,000 Palestinians who were forcibly removed. They lied to us and said that, nothing like that ever happened, and that, they just sort of left. So, it was something that I didn't learn about till I got older. I remember being at the marketplace in Jerusalem and wanting to buy some hookahs and going across the street and saying, hey, I want to look at these. And my dad said, well, you can't because they're Arab. And I was like, well, why not? And he's like, because they hate you. So this has been a long time that I've been taught.
Do you think they hate you?
No. This is what they want. They want to divide us.
Stop bombing innocent civilians now. Free Palestine now. Israel absolutely not, does not represent all Jews.
Okay, so that was a whole bunch of nonsense. We need to unpack this sentence again. This was 1 minute and 10 seconds, and I think it could take, if I wanted to, I could spend 2 hours, 2 hours crushing every single one of these stupid claims being made here. But we don't have that much time. But let's try to see in what amount of time it's going to take for me to completely crush everything that has been said here. All right, so let's see. Let's try. Yeah, people are saying dumbasses. Exactly. Let's see.
I went on birthright, and the first thing that you say when you get to Israel is welcome home. And I was like, I'm pretty sure this isn't Long Island.
Why are you?
All right, so think about this, okay? Yeah, so they are offering you to make Israel your home, okay? You don't have to make Israel your home. And apparently you don't want to. But think about the position of privilege that this person is coming from, and not understanding that how her personal experience doesn't apply to other people, right? So the reason why it makes sense for Israel to offer to Jewish people around the world the ability to make Israel their home if they choose to. Again, this is not force. There are many Jews that decide not to do that, and that's fantastic. That's fine. The fact that you have that option is a privilege, and you should be thankful, because maybe you, lady, maybe you are a Jew that is not threatened. Maybe you are a Jew that is not feeling the extreme level of anti-Jewish hatred that exists all around the world. Maybe you are one of the lucky ones. But you, lady, are an idiot because you don't understand that not every Jew feels the same level of safety and security that you have. That historically, globally, we have had repeated mass attacks on Jews, and people's memory are fail them very fast because people forget history, and especially the younger generation of Jews don't understand how the high level of anti-Jewish hatred that exists around the world could escalate overnight, and how they will be the first targets. Always, everywhere in the world, when we have oppression, where we have fascism, right? Where we have any form of state-sponsored or mass groups of people promoting an elimination of a high group of people, it's very likely that the first people that they target is going to be Jewish people. Jewish people are like a canary in the mine. If they come for the Jews, that's the sign. Like, if you want to see fascism or genocidal tendencies or discrimination or oppression is on the rise in your neighborhood, look at what's happening to the Jews, because often they are the first ones to go, right? And if you have not felt that, lady, if you don't feel the need for the services Israel, for the option that Israel as a country is offering you, you are one of the lucky ones who don't understand that not everybody has that option to have other places that they could call a safe home. And you might not even understand that you yourself might actually at some point need to go to use that option, make use of that available option. You have no idea how things can change like this. Just go talk to, if you could use maybe go read the accounts of Jews that lived in Germany before World War II. It was one of the best places to be a Jew, but things changed before World War I would say, right? Things changed really fast. Things change really, really fast. And again, people's lifespan is like, I don't know, 70 to 80 to 90 years, but they don't understand that history, when trends like this all of a sudden happen, when we have this is something that has been consistent, because people's lives are short. If they don't understand history, if they don't understand the underlying some ideologies, are how deep rooted they are and how persistent they are, they don't understand that when it comes to over the span of multiple thousands of years, when we talk about 100 years or 50 years, things could change again. That's really a short amount of time. Because our lifespans are short, we forget easily, and we think that something is just the norm just because we have experienced it throughout our lifetime. But we don't understand that is how fast things could change, and how even though some things can change, there are some other things that are very consistent and permanent, almost permanent, right? And the reason why things change fast is because there was a thin layer of society, of order, that was holding those deep rooted ideologies in check. And that thin layer of safety and security, if you don't defend it, if you don't stand behind it, could be ripped apart very fast. And the dragon underneath that thin layer of safety and security will come and swallow you whole. And Israel is one of those pieces of security that we have. As one of the most discriminated, most hated communities in the world, Jewish people have came with a solution. Many Jewish people have came with a solution, with providing Israel as an option, as a safe haven for them to have a nation state where they could protect themselves against this global threat that against them. Again, many young Jews don't understand this. Many younger Jews thought that this is something that you just read in history books. They had no idea. Many Jews have no idea this dragon, this monster that is constant in history. The anti-Jewish hatred, it has not gone away. Okay, it's just been weakened, but it comes back from time to time. Again, they think that because they were born in an era of world liberal order where we had more safety and security than anywhere else in history, they think a globalized threat to the Jewish people is something that you only read in history books. They don't understand how easily it could come back. We need Israel when it comes to protecting the most hated minority in the world. We need Israel to be there as an option. And how ungrateful do you have to be? How ungrateful do you have to be just because you don't feel the need to choose that option for your own safety and security? You dismiss it as something justified just because you don't. Oh, you have Long Island to live, so I don't feel a need to call Israel my home. So how stupid it is for them to say like, oh, hey, Jewish people, you could call Israel your home. Well, I already have a home. How selfish and self-centered do you have to be to not understand how important of an option this is for other Jewish people? And also many Jewish people that don't recognize how important it is for them to have this. But let's continue.
This isn't Long Island.
Why are you against genocide? Because as Jews especially, we should know from our past that what's going on is unacceptable. Genocide can never be carried out against anyone, never again for anyone.
I've been
Yeah, I agree. That's why when people do commit acts of genocide, like for example on October 7th, right? You say never again. You say as Jews, we have to understand that genocide should never be accepted. Never again. Okay, what if it happens? Then there should be a strong response. This guy, listen to him again.
been taught my whole life that Israel was supposed
Genocide. That what's going on is unacceptable. Genocide can never be carried out against anyone, never again for anyone.
Yes, I agree 100%. But I think that you don't mean what I'm acting like you mean. Genocide should never be accepted, right? So Once genocide happens, once an act of genocide happens, what should we do? What should we do? We should send a signal to the world that this will not be accepted, right? So when did an act of genocide happen? When did it happen? On October 7th. So what should we do now that an act of genocide has happened? There needs to be a strong response. There needs to be a strong enough response for it to have send a deterring signal to anybody else who wants to try the same thing. I'm assuming when you say no to genocide, you're referring to what's happening in Gaza right now. That's not genocide. You don't even, I think if I talk to you, I guess that you don't even know what genocide means, that you can't even define genocide. What's happening right now in Gaza is a response to an act of genocide. It's not genocide. And every time an act of genocide happens, we do need a strong response. But let's continue.
Again, for anyone.
I've been taught my whole life that Israel was supposed to be our safe space, but no one ever taught me about the Nakba and what happened to 750,000 Palestinians who were forcibly removed. They lied to us and said that, nothing like that ever happened and that, they just sort of left. So, it was something that I didn't learn about till I got older. I remember.
Who told you that? Okay. You still don't understand what happened, what the Nakba is referring to. Let me just take this out. There's so much nonsense here. Let me just take this out. This is insane. I don't know how to deal with this level of nonsense.
I've been taught my whole life that Israel was supposed to be our safe space.
So remember this part. Israel was supposed to be a safe space, and she's now trying to come up to tell us why that is not the case. And she refers to the Nakba. Okay? You idiot. The Nakba, what happened that led to the Nakba, right? Confirms the fact that Israel is a safe space. How are you even Israel, okay, was founded as a country recognized by the United Nations. On its first day as a country, Arab states and Palestinian leaders united to attack Israel, to destroy a country that was 1 day old, right? And what happened? Israel won. A newly country, 6 Arab states united with each other, united against Israel, which is a country that is barely that is just a day old, right? And they staged an attack on Israel, and Israel survived. This shows you two things: the strong determination of the Jews to make Israel a safe space for Jewish people, and they succeeded, right? And also it shows the level of anti-Jewish hatred that exists against the Jews, because Palestinians were offered a country that if they had accepted, they would have such better conditions right now. And over again, for more than 70 years, they have not learned their lesson. They are kept getting offers, and they reject them, and they fight, and they lose, and their lives get worse because of it. From day one, this is what happened to the Palestinians. But why do they not learn? I ask you, why do these Palestinians not learn their lesson? From day one, there was enough land for everybody to go around. Israelis, the Jews were offered a country named Israel, for a majority Jewish country with a large population of Arab minority as equal citizens. And the Palestinians were offered a country as well named Palestine. The Jews accepted that offer, say like, okay, we accept this. We will accept Israel as a country and Palestine as a country as well. The Palestinians are like, no, we don't accept this. And guys, they would not have accepted it even if the land was cut 95% for Palestine and 5% for Israel, because they were in principle against any form of Jewish state, Israel being founded as a country. They would have rejected, it was 50-50. They would have rejected 60-40, 60 for Arabs, 40 for Jews. They would have rejected that. 70-30, they would have rejected that. 80-20, they would have rejected that. 90-10, they would have rejected that. 98-2%, they would have rejected that, because their policy was no Jews, no Jewish state. And look at what happened to them. So this is the second thing the Nakba confirms. The Nakba confirms the level of anti-Jewish hatred is so strong that even if this was a win-win for both Arabs and Jews at that time, because of the deep-rooted hatred that exists against Jews, either for racism reasons or Islamic reasons, and there is both. The Arabs, the Palestinians, lost their own country that they could have had because it's the price of anti-Jewish hatred. They are willing to not have a country, but still remain anti-Jew. This confirms what happened that led to Nakba, confirms that Israel was supposed to be and is, by mostly, a safe space for Jewish people. So I don't know what propaganda people told you, but the two statements that you're saying do not contradict each other. Actually, one of them confirms the other one. But let's hear what you think happened at Nakba. Let's listen to her description of what actually happened.
But no one ever taught me about the Nakba and what happened to 750,000.
What happened? Okay, look, she's saying 750 Palestinians who were forcibly removed. I ask you, people in the live chat, you tell me, forcibly by who? Forcibly by who? Tell me in the live chat. The Palestinians who were removed from their land. Who removed them? There was a partition. The United Nations recognized that the only option, given the level of anti-Jewish hatred that exists in this land, okay, we need to have two states. One Arab and one Jewish. And by Jewish, we don't mean an ethno-state. People think a Jewish state means a state that is run based on Judaism. Hey, Susie is here. Hi, Susie. No, it just means Jewish majority. Arab majority, Jewish majority. The Jews said okay. When they said okay, the Arab population that they would have accepted as a minority of their country would have been 40%. They would have only a slight majority of Jews. And the Jews accepted an Israel with 40% Arabs, with Arabs living side by side with Jews as equal citizens. That's what they accepted. Nobody was being driven away. The Israelis were not like, oh, get out of this land. This is going to be for Jews. They're like, we accept Palestine as a country, as our neighbor, and we accept only a small majority. Like, if Jews would be a majority, but only by a few percentages. That's the only thing that would make them a Jewish state. Not like Jewish run, not like Jews are superior. None of that. Just that we're majority Jew. And majority not like 90%, not like 80% that is now, by 60%, 60-40. Israel said yes to that, to the United Nations. So then if they said yes, then what made all these Palestinians leave? He said Palestinians were forcibly removed. Why were these Palestinians forcibly removed? Who forcibly removed them? Given that Israel at the time of its foundation was willing to accept this many Arabs as equal citizens. They were forcibly removed by the Arab countries that attacked Israel. Why forcibly? Because they left, because there was war. They thought, the ones who left, they thought that, oh, 6 countries are coming on one baby new country. Obviously, they're going to win. There's war. Let's leave. I don't want to be present during this war. And once Israel is crushed, we'll come back. To their surprise, Israel was not crushed. And Israel was like, okay, you guys want to end the state. I don't think that I can let you guys back in. The Palestinians left because the Arab countries attacked. Israel was not forcing them out. Any other, all that talk regarding letting Palestinians back in or not was after this whole thing mess started, because the Arabs could not accept a Jewish state existing. And even after that, the Arabs who stayed, people were like, oh, yeah, sure, equal rights for all Arabs. Yeah, sure. Well, they got, the ones who stayed, they got that. The Arabs who stayed back eventually became equal citizens with the Jews. Imagine if they didn't left. You know who betrayed these Palestinians who left? If they stayed, they would have been equal citizens like the Jews, like the Arabs who actually stayed there. You know who betrayed them? You know why they're homeless, why they lost their homes? Because the Arab states attacked them. So when you say 750,000 Palestinians were forcibly removed, mention that they were removed by Arabs, not by the Jewish state, not by Israel. Mention that part.